I thought I knew him until I saw the messages. The man I loved had a secret life, and I found out everything in one shocking night. You won't believe what happened next. I thought I knew him completely. James, my boyfriend for 3 years, seemed perfect. Charming, attentive, loving. Every morning he'd text me. Every evening we'd watch our favorite shows together, and every weekend we'd explore new restaurants or go on spontaneous road trips. Friends always said we were the perfect couple, the kind that made everyone else jealous. And I believed it. I trusted him. I loved him. Until that night, I was looking for my charger in his apartment. He was out grabbing groceries, and I noticed his phone buzzing on the counter. I hesitated. It was unlocked. That alone felt strange. He usually kept it private. Curiosity got the better of me. I picked it up, and then I saw it. A notification from an online dating app. My heart stopped. I blinked, thinking it must be some kind of mistake. But then I saw the messages. Flirty. Late-night conversations with someone named Lila. The more I scrolled, the more my stomach sank. This wasn't just a hidden hobby. This wasn't just some small secret. James had been leading an entire secret life, one that I had no idea existed. I dropped the phone onto the counter. My hands shook. My heart raced. I tried to convince myself to calm down. Maybe it was just a chat, nothing serious. But the screenshots of dates, the carefully hidden meetups, and the pictures he sent, they told a very different story. I sank onto the couch feeling dizzy, feeling betrayed. The man I thought I knew wasn't who I thought he was. How could someone love you perfectly in public and hide this in private? The door clicked. He walked in, humming, unaware that I'd just uncovered a truth that would shatter my world. If you discovered your partner had been hiding a secret life online, would you confront them immediately or investigate first? I watched James walk in, smiling, carrying groceries like nothing had changed. My heart was pounding in my chest, a heavy, uneven rhythm that screamed at me. I held his phone in my hand, and every second felt like a lifetime. "Hey, babe, I got your favorite snacks," he said, setting the bags on the counter. I nodded, forcing a calm I didn't feel. "Thanks." My voice sounded strange to me, flat, distant. He didn't notice. He never would. I had to know more. I unlocked his phone again, diving deeper into the hidden world he'd created. There were messages I hadn't seen before. Some were months old, some recent. Flirty jokes, late-night meetups, even secret plans he never mentioned. And there she was again. Lila. Always Lila. I couldn't breathe. Every message felt like a punch in the gut. He had an entire life, a parallel world where I didn't exist the way I thought. I scrolled through photos and my hands shook. Pictures of them laughing at restaurants we had talked about going to together. Selfies from parks he'd claimed were work trips. Notes about movies they had watched late at night while I thought he was at home. Every image was proof that my James, the man I loved and trusted, had been living a secret life right under my nose. I felt sick. I wanted to throw up. I wanted to scream. I wanted to disappear. And then a message popped up from Lila. "Can't wait to see you tonight." Alone, I froze. Tonight. Tonight, he had plans with her. Right now, while I thought we were normal, while I thought we were safe. I needed air. I ran to the balcony, clutching the railing, heart hammering. My mind raced. What did I do? Did I confront him? Did I wait? Did I call him out in front of everyone? I couldn't decide. But I knew one thing. I couldn't ignore this. I couldn't pretend it wasn't happening. The James I loved, the perfect boyfriend, had been hiding the truth from me for months, maybe years. I stared at the city lights, thinking about every lie, every excuse, every "I love you" that suddenly felt hollow. And I realized something terrifying. I didn't know him at all. When he walked onto the balcony behind me, humming softly, I turned to face him, phone still in hand. "Lily, what's wrong?" His voice was casual, unaware, and it made me furious. I didn't answer. I couldn't, not yet, because I had a choice now. And that choice would decide everything. My heart, my trust, my future. If you found secret messages on your partner's phone, would you read everything or stop after the first hint of betrayal? I couldn't wait any longer. My hands were trembling, my chest tight, but I knew I had to confront him. The phone in my hand felt like both a weapon and a curse. James was humming in the kitchen, opening a bag of chips, completely unaware that the truth had already been unearthed. "James?" I said, my voice sharp but shaking. He turned instantly, surprise flashing in his eyes. "What's wrong?" he asked, and my stomach sank. That question, that innocent tone. How could he ask that when the evidence was right there on his phone? I held it out to him. "Explain this." His eyes widened. He took a step back and I could see him forming words that never quite came out. "Lily, you what?" I demanded, voice rising. "You lied. You hid this entire life from me. Every message, every secret date, every plan you never mentioned. Tell me it's all a mistake." He ran his hands through his hair, flustered. "It's not what it looks like. I didn't want to hurt you." I laughed bitterly, the sound breaking against the walls of the apartment. "Not want to hurt me? James, do you know what this feels like? Knowing every smile, every word, every memory we shared might have been a lie?" He opened his mouth, closed it, searched for a way out. "It wasn't serious. I didn't. Not serious?" I cut in, shaking. "You called her Lila like it was nothing. You planned secret nights like it was nothing. You lied to me every day and it was nothing." The hurt in my voice made him flinch. I had never sounded like that before. Raw, unfiltered, shaking with both anger and heartbreak. I didn't think you'd find out," he muttered. "I thought I could handle it, figure things out, but I didn't want to lose you." "You've already lost me," I whispered, tears welling in my eyes. "I trusted you. I loved you. And this secret life, it changes everything." He reached for my hand, desperate, pleading. "Please, Lily, don't leave. I can explain. I can fix it." But I pulled my hand away. I had already seen too much. I had already felt too much. Trust, once broken, couldn't just be explained away with words. "No, James. Not tonight. Not ever if this is who you are." I turned away, clutching the phone to my chest, feeling like my entire world had been rewritten in an instant. My perfect relationship was gone, replaced by lies and secrets I didn't know how to confront yet. And as I walked to my room, I realized that tonight would be the night I had to decide, fight for someone who betrayed me or fight for myself. If you confronted your partner about hidden secrets, would you forgive them after an explanation or walk away immediately? That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind kept replaying the messages, the lies, every smile James had given me that now felt like a carefully crafted mask. I stared at the ceiling, heart pounding, trying to make sense of what I had discovered. I knew I needed more answers. Not just half explanations, not just excuses. I needed the truth. I opened his laptop, something I never thought I'd do, and hesitated before typing in the password he always left, saved on a sticky note. Inside, I found folders he thought I'd never see. Trips, dates, private, Lila. My hands shook as I clicked through them. Photos, receipts, screenshots, messages, all carefully hidden, all proof that James had been living a double life. There were screenshots of late-night video calls, selfies of them at places I thought we'd gone together, notes about dinner plans that had never included me. My stomach churned as I realized the extent of his deception. I paused on one message. Can't wait for tonight. Just the two of us. She doesn't need to know tonight. He had plans tonight. While I thought we were spending a cozy night together, he had arranged a secret meeting with Lila. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. Rage, betrayal, heartbreak, all mixed into a storm I couldn't control. I knew I had to confront him again, but this time, I needed evidence. I needed proof that I wasn't overreacting, that I wasn't imagining things. I downloaded everything, screenshot after screenshot, each one feeling like a weight lifting from my shoulders, and also crushing me. When James came home late that night, humming softly, I was waiting in the living room, laptop open, evidence ready. His casual smile faltered the second he saw me. "Lily, what are you doing?" he asked, a trace of panic in his voice. I held up the laptop. "Explaining to you that I know everything. Every secret, every lie, every hidden moment." His face went pale. "Lily, it's not what you think." "Not what I think?" I interrupted, voice trembling. "James, I've seen the messages, the photos, the notes. I've seen your double life, the one you thought I'd never find. Tell me how this isn't betrayal. Tell me how this isn't lying to my face every day." He opened his mouth, but I didn't let him finish. "I don't know if I can ever trust you again. I don't know if I can ever forgive you." The room was silent, except for the hum of the laptop. I realized something important. The truth had been uncovered, but the real test was what I would do with it. Could I forgive, or would I have to walk away to protect myself? For the first time, I felt the power in my hands. The power to decide my own fate. The power to reclaim my life from the person I loved but no longer trusted. If you uncovered evidence of a partner's double life, would you confront them immediately or take time to gather proof first? The next evening, I waited. Not for him to apologize, not for him to explain, but for me to finally speak my truth. The apartment was quiet, the kind of quiet that presses against your ears, reminding you that nothing would ever be the same. James walked in, carrying groceries again, humming softly. I felt a flicker of anger. How could someone act so normal while living a lie? "Lily, you've been quiet all day," he said cautiously. "Is everything okay?" I took a deep breath, clutching the laptop with all the evidence. "No, James. Nothing is okay. Not anymore." He froze, the color draining from his face. "Lily, what do you mean?" "I mean, I know everything," I said firmly. "Every message, every secret meeting, every lie you thought I'd never find. I've seen your double life. I've seen who you really are when I'm not around, and I want to hear it from you. The truth without excuses." He stammered, searching for words. "Lily, I didn't mean for it to go this far. I didn't want to hurt you, I swear." I shook my head, tears brimming. Swearing doesn't undo the months, maybe years of deception. I trusted you. I believed in you. "And this," I said, lifting the laptop, "this proves I was wrong." His shoulders slumped. "I know I messed up. I don't expect you to forgive me. I love you. I didn't think about what it would do to you. I thought I could handle it without you finding out." "And you were wrong," I said, voice trembling. "You were so wrong. Love isn't hiding secrets. Love isn't lying. Love isn't living two lives at the same time. Do you understand that?" He nodded, defeated. "Yes, Lily. I understand. I'm sorry. I really am." I felt a strange mix of relief and heartbreak. Relief that the truth was out. Heartbreak that the person I loved wasn't who I thought he was. "I don't know if I can ever trust you again," I whispered. "And I don't know if I can forgive you. But I do know one thing. I deserve honesty. I deserve respect. And if you can't give me that, I need to walk away." He lowered his gaze, silent. No excuses, no pleas. Just the weight of the consequences he created. I closed the laptop, feeling a strange sense of power. The secrets no longer controlled me. The lies no longer trapped me. I had the choice to decide my own path. For the first time in weeks, I felt clarity. I had uncovered the truth, confronted it, and now it was my turn to choose. Love myself or stay in a relationship built on deception. I took a deep breath, feeling my heart beat slow. "I need time," I said quietly. "I need space to think. I need to put myself first." And for once, James had no words, no excuses, no control. If your partner admitted to a double life, would you stay and try to rebuild trust or walk away to protect yourself? The next morning, I woke up to an apartment that felt too quiet, too empty. I hadn't slept well, not because of James, not because of the secrets, but because I was finally realizing what I needed to do. I couldn't stay, not in a relationship built on deception, not with someone who had a life I didn't know about, not with someone I had loved blindly while they lived in shadows. I packed a small bag, clothes, my sketchbook, some essentials. Nothing extravagant. It wasn't about leaving in style. It was about leaving with my dignity intact. Before I left, I sat down at the kitchen table and looked at James. He was sitting on the couch, quiet, waiting. Waiting for what? I didn't know. "Lily," he started, but I held up a hand. "Don't. I've made my decision." His face fell. He knew this wasn't temporary. This wasn't a fight we could patch up. This was me taking control of my life. I never wanted this," he said softly. "And yet it happened," I whispered. "You chose a secret life. You chose to deceive me. I chose to love you fully. And that choice, That choice was mine alone. I grabbed my bag and walked toward the door. The air felt heavy, charged with years of trust broken and words unsaid. I paused, hand on the doorknob. Goodbye, James, I said, and it felt like more than just leaving him. It felt like leaving the version of me that believed in his perfection. I stepped outside into the morning sun, feeling the warmth against my skin, and took my first deep, free breath in weeks. The city buzzed around me, people moving, cars honking, life going on. And so was I. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The laptop, the messages, the betrayal, they were behind me now. All that mattered was the path ahead. I called Emma, my best friend, and told her I was on my way. She didn't ask questions. She just laughed softly, a sound that felt like home. Finally, she said. I smiled through the tears. Finally, I echoed. Walking through the streets, I felt a strange mix of heartbreak and liberation. It hurt to leave someone I loved, but it hurt even more to stay and pretend everything was fine. For the first time, I realized that leaving wasn't weakness. Leaving wasn't failure. Leaving was survival. Leaving was reclaiming the life and happiness that I deserved, untainted by lies and secrets. And in that moment, as the wind brushed against my face, I knew something vital. I could love again, but it would never be blind. I could trust again, but it would never be given lightly. And I could finally be myself again, free of someone else's shadows. Have you ever had to walk away from someone you loved to save yourself? The first few days after leaving James were strange. The apartment felt empty, the silence heavy, but it was mine. Every corner reminded me of him. Every item felt like a memory I couldn't yet let go of, but I knew I had to. I started small. Mornings were mine, coffee on the balcony, watching the city wake up, breathing in air that wasn't tainted with lies. I walked more, explored streets I hadn't noticed before, noticed the little things, the smell of fresh bread from the bakery, children laughing in the park, strangers smiling at nothing in particular. Slowly, I picked up my sketchbook again. I hadn't touched it in months, not since I was too wrapped up in James and his secrets. I drew whatever I felt. Sometimes anger, sometimes sadness, sometimes fleeting happiness. Each stroke, each color, felt like reclaiming a part of myself that had been buried under heartbreak. I started meeting friends more often. Emma became my anchor. She didn't ask me to forgive him. She didn't tell me to move on too quickly. She just listened, laughed at my ridiculous jokes, and reminded me that I was still me, the me that had nothing to do with James or his lies. One evening, I joined a small art class. Strangers became friends quickly, sharing stories of heartbreak, recovery, and resilience. I realized I wasn't alone. I realized many people had loved, been hurt, and still found strength to move forward. The more I rebuilt my life, the less I felt the weight of James's betrayal. My heart ached less. My laughter came easier. My thoughts of him became just memories, no longer a storm of pain and anger. I also learned to enjoy solitude. I went for long walks by myself, watched movies alone, cooked meals without needing someone to approve them. And in that silence, I discovered a freedom I hadn't known I craved. The freedom to be fully, completely me. And slowly I began to see something beautiful. The life I thought I had lost wasn't gone. It was just waiting for me to take it back. Every step, every choice, every small moment of joy reminded me of one truth. My happiness was mine to protect. Not James's, not anyone else's. Mine. I still thought of him sometimes, but it didn't hurt anymore. Instead, it reminded me why I had chosen myself. And for the first time in months, I smiled. Not forced, not anxious, but truly, entirely me. Have you ever had to rebuild your life after betrayal? And how did you find your own strength again? It had been months since I left James. Months since the storm of betrayal. Months since I felt like I could breathe freely again. My life had found its rhythm. Work, friends, art, and quiet moments that belonged only to me. I thought I had closed that chapter completely. But life has a way of testing you when you least expect it. I was walking down the street near the park where I often went to sketch. The sun soft and golden, the air filled with the smell of autumn leaves. I had my sketchbook tucked under my arm, headphones in, completely lost in my own world when I bumped into someone. "Oh, I'm so sorry," I exclaimed, stepping back. The man I had bumped into froze for a moment. And then, my heart skipped. It wasn't James, but it was him. A man I had met months ago in an art class. Nathan. Kind, warm, a little awkward, but with eyes that felt like they could see straight through me. I should be the one apologizing," he said, smiling shyly. There was something in his gaze that felt safe, unthreatening, genuine. Unlike the storm I had lived through with James, this felt calm. We started talking, just small things at first. The weather, the art exhibit I had visited last week, the sketchbook under my arm. But slowly, the conversation deepened. He asked about my art, about what I loved, about the things that made me laugh. And I felt myself opening up, little by little, sharing pieces of myself I hadn't dared show anyone since the betrayal. For the first time in a long time, I laughed freely, genuinely. It felt like a balm on the scars James had left. I realized that life could be full of unexpected kindness, that trust could grow again, even after it had been shattered. As we parted that day, Nathan smiled and said, "I'd love to see your art sometime, if you're willing to show it." I nodded, a small smile playing on my lips. I'd like that. Walking home, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Not hope tied to someone else's lies or secrets, but hope tied to new beginnings, to meeting people who could see the real me and value it. I realized that moving on didn't mean forgetting the past. It meant learning from it, protecting your heart, and being ready to welcome something genuine when it finally arrived. For the first time, I didn't feel the weight of betrayal pressing on me. I felt light, open, alive. And maybe, just maybe, love could be real again. This time, built on honesty, trust, and patience. Have you ever met someone after heartbreak who helped you trust and love again? Weeks passed and Nathan and I continued to meet, sometimes for coffee, sometimes for walks, sometimes for sketching in the park. There was no rush, no pressure, only moments of laughter, shared stories, and the slow, steady building of trust. I had promised myself I wouldn't fall too fast. I had promised myself that I would guard my heart, that I would not let anyone hurt me like James did. And yet, each time Nathan smiled, each time he genuinely listened to me, each time he encouraged my art, I felt something shift inside me. It was strange, this feeling. Not fear, not doubt, not heartbreak. It was warmth, a quiet assurance that someone could care about me deeply without secrets or lies. And I realized that maybe I could allow myself to love again. One evening, after we had spent hours sketching by the river, Nathan turned to me and said, "Lily, I know you've been through a lot, and I don't want to rush anything, but I hope I can be someone you can trust." I looked at him, his eyes honest, patient, kind. I thought of James and the betrayal, the lies, the heartbreak. And then I thought of myself, stronger now, wiser, more aware of what I deserved. "Yes," I whispered, almost to myself. "I think I'm ready to trust again. I'm ready to try." It wasn't just about Nathan, it was about me. Choosing to open my heart again, choosing to let someone in, choosing to believe that love could be real and kind. I felt the past slowly loosen its grip. The anger, the pain, the betrayal, they were still there, but they no longer defined me. I was not broken. I was healed. And I could choose love on my terms, with someone who respected it. Nathan reached for my hand, and I held it without hesitation. It felt natural, safe, comforting. It felt like a promise, not a contract. It felt like the beginning of something beautiful. I realized that heartbreak isn't the end of love. It's a lesson, a warning, a preparation for something better, something honest, something lasting. That night, walking home under the soft glow of streetlights, I felt lighter than I had in years. I smiled softly, thinking about the journey, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the escape, the self-discovery, and finally, the courage to love again. Love could hurt. Love could betray. Love could disappoint. But love could also heal, nurture, and transform. And I was ready to embrace it fully, without fear, without hesitation. Have you ever learned to trust in love again after heartbreak? Months had passed since I met Nathan, and even more since I walked away from James. Every day felt like a step further from the shadows of betrayal, a step closer to the life I'd always deserved, a life full of honesty, respect, and hope. I had built a new routine, one that centered on me, my art, my walks, my friends, my laughter, all pieces of a life reclaimed. But the most important part was the freedom I felt inside. Freedom from lies, from secrets, from the weight of someone else's deception. Nathan had become a steady presence in my life, not a replacement for the past, not a quick fix, not a cure for old wounds, just someone who encouraged me, inspired me, and reminded me that love could be kind and gentle. One afternoon we sat in the park, sketchbooks open, pens moving across paper. He glanced at me and said softly, "You've come so far, Lily. You've been through so much, and yet you're still here, still strong." I smiled, warmth spreading through me. It wasn't easy, I admitted, but leaving, walking away, choosing myself, it changed everything. I realized that happiness isn't found in someone else. It's found in being true to yourself. He reached for my hand, fingers entwining with mine. "And you let someone in now who truly sees you," he said. "The real you." I nodded. The weight of the past, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the secrets, no longer held me down. It existed as a memory, a lesson, a reminder of my strength. But it did not define me. I thought about James one last time, not with anger, not with longing, not with regret, but with acceptance. He was a chapter in my life that had ended, a teacher in disguise, and a reminder of the resilience I carried. Nathan and I leaned back on the grass, the sun warm on our faces, the city bustling softly around us. I realized that life was full of beginnings, endings, heartbreaks, and joys, and every ending opened the door to a new beginning. I had chosen myself. I had chosen honesty. I had chosen love again, carefully, wisely, courageously, and for the first time in a long time, I felt whole. As I watched Nathan sketch a small smiley face on his page and glance at me with those kind eyes, I whispered to myself, almost as a promise, "This is the start of something real, something good, something lasting." Life had taught me a painful lesson, but it had also given me a gift, the ability to love without fear, to trust without hesitation, and to step forward with courage. And that, I realized, was the most beautiful beginning of all. Have you ever turned heartbreak into a new beginning? And how did it change the way you love?